Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to cross the Øresund once again, and we're going to go back to Denmark, to Svinninge, right in the middle of Sjaelland to be specific, and we're going to have a look at yet another beer from one of my favourite Danish breweries. Probably you know who they are by now. For this review then we are having a look at yet another beer from Toøl, and another beer from their Toøl City brewery that they have now, and this one is called the Extreme Measures. It comes in at 10% ABV, so it is a bit of a monster, and this one is a triple IPA. So I think this is a hazy New England type IPA, so this one will be the strongest one that I've had from them so far, but hopefully it turns out to be a nice beer. The last one that I had from these guys was the Wanderlust for the Wicked, which was a collaboration with First Viacic from Berlin actually, and that was very, very nice. And before that I think it was the 45 Days Pilsner, if I'm remembering rightly. So yeah, I've had some really nice beers from the new brewery that Toøl have, and I'm quite glad that we're getting some of these beers as part of the Lokalis Moskeligt here in Sweden. Now it is nice to have an easy way to get a hold of Toøl, because you know, before the turn of the year I think it was, I hadn't reviewed, or maybe a bit before that actually, not so long ago, it had been about 2 years since I'd reviewed a Toøl beer, so I'm really glad that we are starting to get more and more of these beers now actually. So yeah, this is a brewery that I've known since, you know, about 2014, 2015, something like that. So yeah, it's really nice that we have these beers regularly over here in Sweden now, because I always used to keep an eye out for these guys over at Kiosk and things in Copenhagen. So yeah, definitely a brewery that I've always enjoyed. Probably my favourite beers from these guys would be the Black Salts and Body Malts. The Dangerously Close to Stupid was a really nice one as well, and the Yule Milk is always a very good Imperial Stout too, and First Frontier I remember being very nice. There's lots of really good beers from these guys, and I'd highly recommend that you check out Toøl if you get the chance. So yeah, let's see how we get on with this one then. This is going to be the strongest hazy New England IPA that I've had from them yet, so fingers crossed it's a good one, and I hope that you guys enjoy my take on this beer as well. So yeah, let's see how we go then. As always with my reviews, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery before we taste the beer. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the video description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Toøl before. This must be review number 20 or so that I've done from this brewery, and you will no doubt see more in the near future. There's all the usual social media down there as well. If you want to see more reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, province, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlists of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Danish beers that I've reviewed for you, and that's being added to very, very regularly because I am so close to Denmark and I like the Danish beers. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Toøl then, on to my brewery notes. So as I've told you before, Toøl was founded by Tobias Emil Jensen and Tori Gainter, who were students of Mikael Bjergsø, the big boss of Mikkeller. He was originally a physics and maths teacher of course, but originally they brewed with him in their school kitchens back in around 2005, and they continued to homebrew until 2010 when they officially founded Toøl, which translates into English from Danish as two beers. So this is literally the two beer brewery. So when Mikael heard that his former students were still brewing, he insisted that they did a collaboration brew together, and this became the first commercial Toøl beer, the double IPA. I'm not sure if you can still get that actually. I would love to try that one if it is still available commercially. But these guys very quickly built a strong reputation for themselves with the help of Mikkeller, and they managed to distribute their beers worldwide very early on, and that was, I think, mainly due to the connections that Mikael and his brother had built, you know, when they really kind of helped the Danish craft beer scene take off. But as is the case with Mikkeller, these guys were originally a gypsy brewery, so they didn't own their own equipment, and they used the spare capacity of other large breweries, brewing a lot of the beer actually at the Prof Brewery in Lokistehaefte near Ghent in Belgium. But in Nørrebro in Copenhagen, they've got a collaborative beer bar with Mikkeller, which is called Mikkeller and Friends, and this was the Toøl home base as such for a long time. But this bar has a big bottle shop, 40 different different beers, and somewhere that I really still need to visit in Copenhagen. I've never actually been to Mikkeller and Friends, but they also now have the Bruce Brew Pub in Copenhagen, which opened back in 2016 in partnership with Christian Gadiant, and there's now a second Bruce bar in Oslo. Both of these kind of operate as independent brew pubs, if you like. You know, Toyo don't kind of interfere with the brewing of the beers and all this kind of thing, but they are, you know, active partners in the company, if you like. But the two Bruce bars have their own beers that you can try, and I do need to get a few of those to review for you at some point. I'm not sure if they do small scale canning and things like that, but I would love to go to Bruce and film an out and about video for you there. That's somewhere that I've not been in quite a while actually. I've not been there in about 2 years or something, so we definitely need to go to Copenhagen and do some more out and about filming. But these guys are also co-owners of the various different Mikkeller and Friends bar venues that you'll find around Copenhagen, and this now includes the bar in Reykjavik and also the bottle shop in Torvehalen in Copenhagen as well, which is the big kind of almost Louvre type glass marketplace. It's really cool. I do recommend you go and visit that. But these guys also own the co-own the Coalship and Micropolis bars in Copenhagen, which are supposed to be very good. I've not been to any of those yet, but as of 2019 they've got a new production facility in Svinninge on Sjaelland, which has a 150 square metre floor space. It's an old fruit factory from what I understand, but they plan to have, they've got a clean side of the brewery which has a large German Braukorn kit, and on this side of the brewery it's run by Tim. He's producing all these IPAs and things like that, and there's also a sour side of the brewery which has various fodders and a coolship and things like that, producing all the different sour beers, and this side is going to be run by Nathan Borey, and this place has a lot of space for barrel aging as well. But they released the first beers from Toyo City in March of 2020, and as of October 2020, when I'm filming this review for you, Toyo have in total released around 455 different beers. So a very, very prolific brewery, and one that I would highly recommend that you check out. You do find certain beers come back time and again, you know, as I say, the Dangerously Close to Stupid, the Yule Milk, First Frontier, Final Frontier. I do want to try Final Frontier, I've never got a hold of that one, but yeah, there's various different Toyo beers, but you know, you are guaranteed a good beer with these guys. I've never had a bad beer from Toyo yet. I've had one that was kind of okay, but you know, other than that, that's probably as bad, you know, as bad as it got. I think that was called oh, it was like the Queen's Jam or something it was called. I forget the Swedish name that it had, but that was an exclusive release to Systembolaget in Sweden. It was a fruit IPA, a berry IPA, and it just didn't turn out quite as I was thinking it would. But yeah, other than that, I've had really, really good beers from Toyo over the last while. As I say, probably my favourite one that I've had from these guys, or the one that really stands out to me, is Black Salts and Body Malts, the Black IPA. I still think that that's one of the best Imperial Black IPAs, and Black IPAs generally, that you'll find on the market, so highly recommend that one. But yeah, that's all I can really tell you about Toyo for the moment. If you want to learn more about these guys, you can check out the brewery website, you can follow them on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with all the latest goings on, and you can of course check out the Rate Beer, Untappd and Beer Advocate pages to learn more about all the different beers that these guys have done. So yeah, let's get on and actually have a taste of this beer then. So as I mentioned to you at the start of the video, this one is the it's called Extreme Measures. It's a triple IPA at 10% ABV. You can see the nice picture of the Toyo City on this one, I think. At least I think that's the Toyo City, the big fruit factory there. And this one is hopped with Mosaic, Sabro, Citra and Centennial. So a really nice selection of hops in there. Mosaic we know is nice and tangerine and orange. Sabro has a really interesting orangey and almost coconutty character to it. Citra we know very well. Mangoes, lots of different little complexities in there. And Centennial is your big kind of lemony type hop as well. But yeah, this one should be a bit of a beast actually. It says in the side here, a triple dry hopped Armageddon. We've gone all the way, stocked the bunker, tin foil on our heads, we're ready for chaos. So yeah, this one will be a little bit of a beast. So without further ado, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting. This one, 440ml can. I think I paid like 60 or 65 Swedish kroners for this. So yeah, it was a little bit more pricey because it is a triple IPA, higher tax and stuff like that. But yeah, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting then. So look at that, this is a monster actually, I'm sure. Yeah, we've got most of it out into the glass. There's still a little bit, but we'll take a few sips and things and see how we go with this one. But I'll tell you something, straight away with this beer, you can smell the lovely big kind of fruity characters coming out of it. But yeah, certainly very, very soupy and gloopy. And you can see there's not much of a head on that one. You can see when it poured it was just not even a quarter finger of a frothy white head there, but just a nice kind of foamy ring around the edge of the glass there. But yeah, it certainly looks like a very nice beer, this one. Kind of what you'd expect from a New England triple these days. But yeah, in terms of colour, I would describe this one as like somewhere between a mango. It's almost like a mango and pineapple juice cross. It's got the lighter kind of thing you'd expect of a pineapple juice on the top, but then it definitely gets more rich and kind of mango-y in colour underneath. But yeah, it looks like a very, very nice beer, this one. And nothing particularly surprising about it when you consider the what kind of style it is and things like that. Brain's going a bit slow today, guys. So that's what I've been saying to you. I've been filming too many reviews when I'm tired, actually, and yeah, my brain's just not quite with it at some points. But yeah, lovely looking triple IPA, this one. Hell of a haze to it, and that's what you expect when it's 10%. You know, you've got a hell of a lot of wheat and a lot of oats in there. So this one is hazy as hell, lovely and soupy and gloopy. So yeah, nothing overly surprising about this beer in terms of its appearance. Let's take a closer look at the aroma and see how we get on with this one. Oh, yeah. This one, I have to say, I don't find this too pungent in terms of the hops and things like that. This one really is more of a big kind of malty, creamy kind of aroma that you're getting out of it. I've been wondering with some of these beers, I've been losing my sense of smell. But yeah, no, this one, it really comes across as more kind of malty than anything else, to be quite honest. So you can pick out, there's a lot of oaty notes coming out of this beer. You can smell a good little bit of a white bready character in there. It's got a good little bit of, you know, a wheaty bitiness to it as well. Yeah, I mean, I was actually smelling more fruit off it when I was further away from it, to be honest. But you can smell, I think, the dry hopping in this one. You get the kind of dustiness from the dry hopping coming out of this beer. That's one of the things I've always said with New England IPAs. I feel that you need to let these kind of settle a little bit, and just let the kind of hops kind of die down a little bit, because if you drink them too fresh, you just get green. And especially with the dry hop ones. But this one, I think, just going from the way the hops are coming out in this one, on the green side of things, I think it should be in a fairly good condition. You usually want to give these beers about 10 days to 2 weeks in the can. But yeah, the aroma of this one is... I'm starting to get more and more of it. It does open up a little bit as your nose adjusts to it. But yeah, lots of big, thick, creamy oats coming out of this one. This one smells really thick and just creamy as hell. Lovely bit of smooth wheaty quality to it. It does have a wee bit of bitiness to the wheat as well. There's a good bit of a kind of butter candy sort of thing, like a Werther's Original type note coming out of the beer. So yeah, the malt base for me is pretty straight shooting, but it just smells very, 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 very thick, and that's kind of what you would expect from a big 10%er, to be honest with you. On the hoppy side of things then, you do get a wee touch of earthiness out of this one, and that's the that would be the Mosaic that's going to give you that. But you do get a little bit of, you do get a good little bit of a big, I say a little bit of a big, that doesn't make sense. You do get a big kind of floral aromaticity out of this one, which you would expect from all these hops, because they are, you know, north of 12% alpha acid. So yeah, good little bit of a big kind of floral aromaticity to this one. I don't find it overly spicy, to be honest with you. There is a bit of grassiness coming out of it as well, but you can smell that almost kind of dustiness from the fact that it's triple dry hopped. So yeah, you do get the coconut from the Sabro in this beer as well, which is interesting. You really can pick up that coconut, and I wonder if that's one of the things that's kind of skewing my nose when it comes to the fruity side of the beer. But yeah, to me, the fruity side of it, there are, you know, you do get mango out of this one, which is the Citra. You can smell the mosaic-y tangerine orange in it. And I don't get so much of the Centennial lemony zest, but if you do take the aroma in a bit more deeply, like that, you will get a little bit more of, yeah, you will get a little bit more of a kind of big, kind of tangerine. You will get the tangerine oranges coming out a bit more. You pick up more of the oily tangerine orange in there, but if you take it in really deeply, you'll feel the aroma just opening up a little bit, and then you'll start to get those big, you get a bit of that kind of lemony zestiness that you'd expect from the Centennial as well. So yeah, I would advise you with this one, take the aroma in a bit more deeply, because that really opens it up a little bit. This one, when you just let it kind of sit there, and the aroma actually comes across as quite subtle, and it leans very much towards the kind of malty side of the beer. So yeah, just pay attention to that side of it too. But yeah, I think this is going to be quite an interesting one. So take a bit of time to consider that aroma, but we're going to taste this now and see how we get on. This one is the Extreme Measures, a triple IPA coming in at 10% ABV from Toil, now based in Svinninge on Sjaelland in Denmark. This is going to be an absolute monster. Let's get stuck in. Slange, skål. Oh yeah, that's a big, boozy beast of a thing. Yeah, you can feel the booze in that as soon as you take the first gulp of it. This is definitely one to share with your friends. I'm glad I've got my friend to share this with me after this review. That is a big, strong beer. Yeah, I would advise you with this one, just on first impressions. 440ml cans for something like this is pretty damn big, but you know, this is the standard thing with these IPAs. You know, it's a big. The 440ml can seems to be the standard measures for IPAs these days, and I don't know how I feel about that for something like this. Double IPAs, it can be okay. Single IPAs, yeah. I'm not sure. You guys might feel quite strongly about that, but yeah, 10% triple IPA in a 440ml can. That is a bit of a beastly thing, definitely. But yeah, this is another really solid beer from Toil actually. There has been an improvement in the IPAs. The last two, this one. And the Wanderlust for the Wicked compared to the double IPA and the Whirl Domination that I had originally. They've kind of smoothened them out a little bit, and they just come across as a little bit more sort of creamy, I would say. So I'm glad that they've managed to kind of sort that issue, to be honest with you. I'm glad that that's been sorted, because the IPAs now come across as a lot more refined than they did previously. But yeah, this one is really nice actually. So yeah, thumbs up to Toyo once again for this. This is a bit of a monster, I have to say. So yeah, let's see how we go with this. Where to start then? We'll start with the malt base as we usually do. I've got a wee fly going around. Get lost. You're not getting any of my beer. Get lost. But yeah. This one, straight away with this beer, you get that lovely kind of white bready, wheaty quality. That blankets the middle of your tongue, and it comes out really nicely, this one. But this beer, it really does thicken up fairly quickly. So yeah, in the middle of your palate then, you can feel... oh, there you go. Get lost, man. Go. With this one... you can feel that nice kind of white bready quality, that blankets the middle of your tongue. When you go towards the back third of your palate, again, it's that wheaty note that really kind of builds up the thickness of the beer. And you can feel that it's a little bit more bitey on the back third of your palate there as well. Yeah, it really smoothens out quite a lot. There is only a little bit of that kind of wheaty bitiness to the beer, and then as you move further forward, it's definitely kind of smoother, to be honest with you. As you move into the middle third of your palate, you can feel it does kind of get a little bit lighter, if you like, on the malty side of things. But then, yeah, as you move towards the kind of front of that, the front half of that middle third of your tongue, if you like, it really has the oaty creaminess there, and then behind that, it's got the nice big kind of Werther's Originally. Yeah, it's definitely got that nice big Werther's Original type butter candy type sweetness to it there as well, which I think is really nice. And I have noticed that's becoming more and more of a feature of a lot of these New England IPAs these days. So yeah, I do like how it's going, how that goes together. I mean, the malt base is pretty straightforward in this one. It is pretty, you know, kind of straight shooting, to be honest with you, but it does work very, very well. Overall, I'd say this one, it's quite well balanced between the oats, the wheat, and also that kind of Werther's originally type sweetness that the beer has, and that works really well. The further you go into the aftertaste, it does lean a little bit more towards the wheaty side of things, which is to kind of be expected. It does have a little bit of bitiness, and you would expect that from a big triple IPA. You would expect it to be just a little bit more kind of wheaty and bitey leaning. But yeah, really solid malty side to this beer once again. Very well balanced and really just nicely done. On the hoppy side of things then, back corners of the palate, you do get a little bit of earthiness to this beer. As I say, that is usually, that'll be the mosaic out of these hops that's going to give you that. But as you move further forward, along the sides of the palate on this one, you get a nice kind of floral aromaticity out of it, and all of the hops are going to contribute to that. Round the very front curve of the tongue, it's a little bit lighter and grassy, but in fairness, it does have a bit of zestiness and a bit of a floral character to it as well. You can kind of feel undertones of the coconut from this. You can feel the sort of coconut from the Sabro in this beer already. It's kind of sitting there on the edge of the tongue almost, which is quite quirky actually. Yeah. But yeah, the fruity side of this beer is quite nice. I would say, yeah, the green side of the beer really leans towards a big kind of floral aromatic note. You can feel a bit of the dustiness from the dry hopping on this one, but I think it's mellowed out quite nicely. I think we're getting this beer in really good condition at the moment, to be honest with you. So yeah, I think well done to Systembolaget for looking after this one properly. But yeah, I'm reviewing this one for you on the 10th of October. So yeah, I think it was released on the 1st, so that gives it 10 days in the can, and probably Systembolaget would have had it for like a week or something before it went to the depot or whatever. So yeah, that's definitely something to think about with this. But yeah, the aroma, the sort of, I'm saying the aroma, the flavour of this beer is really nicely done, but the dry hopping side of it, you can feel that's just mellowed out to a nice degree now. On the fruity side of things then, where to start with it. If you go towards the back of that front third of your palate, you do get a little bit of that sort of dark passion fruity note that you can get from the Citra. As you move further forward, you definitely get more of a mango-y note. You can feel a few other kind of tropical fruits coming out under it. Maybe a little bit of a, it's almost got a little bit of a pineapple-y edge to it, but you know, quite quickly you get the more oily tangerine orange, and that's both the Sabro and the mosaic that are contributing to that. I find the orangey, the more oily orangey tangerine notes, they spread quite far back on that front third of your tongue, which is quite nice. So you've got a really big oily orangey character to this one, but then as you reach the kind of front tip of your tongue, actually, it's got a really nice kind of lemony zestiness, and that's the Centennial really starting to come out of the beer. You do get a wee touch of lime in there as well, actually, which I would suspect is down to I would suspect that that's down to the, how would you say? I would suspect that it's down to the Citra rather than any of the other hops in this one. But yeah, the flavour that comes out of this, I think, is really nice on the fruity side of things. The fruits come across as nice and almost oily, which I really like, but they've got a good level of juiciness in there as well, to be honest. So yeah. But yeah, another pretty damn solid beer from Toyo, but I'm just glad I've got somebody to share this with, because this is a big, you know, this is a big heavy beast of a thing. So yeah, take your time and just sip away on this if you are drinking the can to yourself, because it is a monster actually. I can feel it going to my head already. But yeah, it is very, very nice, I will say. It does grow on me a little bit, but yeah, big oily, smooth triple IPA rather than anything else, and you can feel it's just the dry hops that you get out of this one are quite nice. It does give the beer just that little bit of a bitter edge that you would want from a triple IPA like this. But yeah, another very, very solid effort from Toyo, I have to say. So yeah, let's go on to the mouthfeel of this one then. So I would describe this beer as being pretty full-bodied. The Carbonation is very, very smooth in this. It is a big oily thing, like I say, but it's got a good degree of creaminess to it as well, in fairness. So yeah, somewhere between oily and creamy for the overall mouthfeel of this beer. In terms of the hoppy bitterness and stuff, I think this one has to be about 50, maybe even 60 IBUs. It's usually kind of standard for a triple IPA to be like that. Yeah, big. You know, this is a big kind of monster of a beer in that sense, actually. Yeah, big bitter triple IPA. Like I said, some of the bitterness I think comes from the dry hopping side of it. It does have a little bit of that dustiness to it, which is quite nice. But yeah, the malt base, very smooth. Does start to get a bit more creamy, but the malt base overall is balanced between the sweet kind of Werther's original notes, the creamy oats, and the more bitey wheat, and you've got a lovely kind of juicy, slightly oily, fruity character coming out of this one too, which I think is really quite nice. So yeah, well done to Toyo for this one. They've pulled off another really solid beer here. And yeah, I've had quite a few New England IPAs from these guys, so I think probably for my next review that I've had from Toyo, that I do from Toyo, I will need to get something a wee bit different. Although fairly recently I did have that 45 Days Pilsner, which was really nice. But yeah, enjoyed reviewing this one for you. It is a bit of a beast, this, just be aware. But yeah, this one was the Extreme Measures triple IPA from Toyo. This is the strongest New England IPA that I've had from these guys. The Dangerously Close to Stupid, though, I think was a bit stronger than this. I forget what percentage it was, but that was a beautiful West Coast, old school West Coast double IPA. I really enjoyed that too, so I would highly recommend that. I want to try the Final Frontier, because I've had First Frontier before, but Final Frontier is one that I definitely need to have a look at if I can come across it. But yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. This was another very nice beer from Toyo, and this is a brewery that I would highly recommend you check out. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Toyo. We will return to these guys at some point fairly soon. And yeah, we are getting their beers quite regularly through Systembolaget now, so you're guaranteed of that. But yeah, the Extreme Measures Triple IPA, 10% ABV from Toyo, now based at Toyo City in Svinninge, right in the middle of Sjaelland, over the water in Denmark. Slanje, skål, cheers, thanks again for watching. Check out my social media, let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys very soon. Cheers.